Let us close the eyes and look inward and try to focus on the divine light at the center of the heart. Keep looking at that divine light and experience immense peace and joy. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Stavakaya Jadharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Stavakaya Jadharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avatar Varishtaya Ramakrishna Yate Rama Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityor Ma Mritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us bow down to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. We have been studying Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. We are discussing many spiritual themes. Today I will be speaking on strive sincerely. Because you get all these lessons in this class which are very helpful for your spiritual unfoldment. It is true, everybody is striving. Nobody is sitting idle. He cannot be idle. He has to be active. He has to do something in order to feel himself happy. So he tries to do things in order to get some satisfaction. He is trying to struggle so that he can live in a better way, he can have more joy and happiness. So he is pursuing this in the external world. That means he is engaged in the world in such activities by which he would be able to get happiness. But he is not satisfied by the happiness he gets. He keeps on doing things more and more, and still he is not able to be contented, because the more he does, the more desires multiply. So the desires keep him constantly pushing in such a way he will not have time even to enjoy the happiness. But mostly he doesn't get real happiness in a way, but the real happiness lies somewhere for which you have to strive. Real happiness you can find, you can get, you can accomplish if you strive sincerely for your spiritual unfoldment. So all the lessons which we are talking about in this class are meant for spiritual unfoldment. That means you have to explore inward. We are exploring outside world. No doubt we are getting many things discovered, and we are able to enjoy some kind of life in this world, but there is always dissatisfaction. Even though you are doing the job very efficiently, you are not at peace. So you have to give proper direction to your thinking and doing. So, you are striving, no doubt, but you strive to get some accomplishment in the spiritual field. Then you will see remarkable contrast between the happiness you get in the spiritual field and the happiness you get in the world. You can definitely find yourself. Sri Ramakrishna watched a part of theatrical performance at the temple premises in Calcutta. The actors, after giving the performance, they wanted to give respects to Sri Ramakrishna because they all knew that Sri Ramakrishna was a holy person and it would be very helpful for them to receive his blessings. And so they all came to Sri Ramakrishna's room. In another way, if I put, they were all drawn by Sri Ramakrishna towards him. I should say that way. Otherwise they would not have been able to come if Sri Ramakrishna's grace was not there. So that means they were very fortunate to come into contact with very great person as Sri Ramakrishna. It proved very well. It was turning point in the life of those actors to come in contact with the spiritual person. Sri Ramakrishna would always make comments, very significant comments, very thoughtful, very useful for our life. He was talking to one of the young actors. It is in the Gospel. I am just giving the background of the topic which I am talking today. This topic was initiated by Sri Ramakrishna himself in the Gospel. Just I am trying to rethink about this so that it is useful for all of us. Pointing to one of the actors, he said, "Your acting was very good." Sri Ramakrishna appreciated him. Then he said, if a person excels in singing, excels in music, in dancing, excels in any other art, he can also quickly realize God, provided he strives sincerely. Same words I have taken to speak today. One can quickly realize God, provided one strives sincerely. That's the subject. And Sri Ramakrishna said further, in order to sing in an efficient way, in order to have excellence in singing, dancing and playing instruments, how much you should practice regularly. Then only you get fineness in your display. In the same way, you should practice regularly. That's very important. Such disciplines as worship, japa, meditation, prayer, do it consciously, willingly, wholeheartedly, sincerely. Then you will see wonderful results in your own life. But regularity is very important. You should not forget that. I have seen the music teacher. He used to come to our home when I was a boy. He would not give the class every day because he would allow some time for us to practice. So he would give a lesson on music, just 2-3 lines, that's all. But he wants us to be so thorough in singing those 3 lines perfectly. So he would say 3 days he would give us time to practice them. Unless we prove our efficiency, he would not go further in the class. So that way, you are made to practice them regularly And by constantly doing that way, you develop taste and appetite, interest, great interest in mastering the subject which you are learning. So when you come to spiritual field, very important point, factor is you must have longing. Just as you desire intensely to become a doctor, whatever difficulty it is, you go through it and get admission into the school, and though it is a 10 years course, you are not bothered. You just keep on doing it because you are interested in getting degree on the medical and the medicine. So since you have got longing, but that longing is used in the worldly pursuit, in achieving the worldly things, you are getting. In the same way, if that longing is used towards realizing your own true nature, it is possible. Then Sri Ramakrishna says further, one must strive to attain God with all his body, with all his mind, and with all his speech. That means the whole being must be engaged in the activities which are helpful for the realization of the truth. By thinking day and night of God, what do you get? You acquire the nature of God. That's why we say, do japam, repeat the mantra, repeat the mantra. This is the beauty of that. If you constantly repeat the mantra, you have got lot of benefits. One of the great benefits is mind is not allowed to go astray. Mind doesn't get distracted. Because you are willing, you want to achieve the goal in this life, so you want to strive sincerely. Repeating God's name, divine name, is very useful and helpful. As Sri Ramakrishna puts it, if you constantly repeat God's name, you get the nature of God. That means what? Your mind is thoroughly purified, and all the qualities which are already there in the mind are replaced by a new set of qualities. You will be having a new format, which is very essential in spiritual field. So this is the background which we should constantly remember. We are all striving for nothing. If you strive for things of the world, it means zero. If you strive for God, it means everything. By striving for the world, you lose everything. If you strive for God, you get everything. One way is losing everything, another way is getting everything. One way leads you to more and more bondage, more and more suffering, more and more tension. The other way is more and more freedom, more and more joy. You are rising from joy to joy. There is no going down in the spiritual field. But you have to follow in a very definite way, without any kind of deviation, without any kind of doubts. You must do it zealously, and definitely you will get the result. So what is happening on account of the constant touch with the world, with the things of the world, with the people in the world who think about world and world only? What's the benefit you get? What are the fruits you are getting? Through such contacts, you are constantly being troubled by tensions, constantly being troubled by anxieties. You'll be constantly under some kind of fear. These are the fruits you are getting in the modern life. In spite of this, why are you not opening yourself properly? Why don't you think and correct yourself before it is too late? So what I mean to say, the challenge is great. So striving sincerely is important to establish overwhelming mastery over your insidious lower self. The lower self is so strong, it has become very violent and aggressive. It just drags you to commit things. It doesn't allow you to enjoy even the happiness that you may get in the world. So the first lesson that you should have to learn in order to correct yourself, you should not be afraid of difficulties. Very important. Experience teaches that no great work can be accomplished without difficulties, without obstacles. Difficulties do come, obstacles do come. That is the nature of the things. Then what's to be done? You will have to treat them in a different way. Look at them from a different point of view. Then you will see the wonders. The more you face them, the more is your fire roused. These difficulties and obstacles, they add zest to your endeavors as long as you don't give in. That's important. You should not give in to those difficulties and obstacles. Mountain high impediments melt down before your burning spirit. As we launch ourselves on this campaign, undeterred by difficulties, we find to our delight new potentialities unfolding themselves and pushing us up. You must have immense faith in yourself. Then only you are worth human being. You must have immense faith in yourself, in your capacities. Then you will be able to elevate yourself. Lord Krishna has put it in the Gita. He has taught, don't debase yourself, for you yourself are your friend, you yourself are your enemy. You are responsible for anything that might happen to you, good or bad, whatever it is. There is a mine of resources in every one of you, waiting to be excavated and exploited. If a person fails to dig due to ignorance, or due to indifference, or due to laziness, and thereby becomes a creature of circumstances, who is to blame? He has to blame himself for that situation. So, he is his own enemy, a prisoner in the self-created cell of passion, prejudice and pride. Is there no hope for him? Is he doomed to die there despite his power and pelf? The answer is no. He can affirm his freedom. He can turn over a new leaf, befriend his nature and save himself. Again, the power to lift himself comes not from any external source, but from the ever-flowing fountain within. So what should he have to do? He must summon it with all his strength and stand on his own feet, discarding the debasing tendencies and letting go all leanings on other beings and objects, however formidable they might be. Self-reliance is not to be construed as dependence on one's ego or the egotistic notion arising from one's wealth, learning or possession. It is the ego that stands as a mighty obstruction to the exploration and manifestation of inner potentialities. It is a massive veil which conceals the higher nature of a person from his view. Whatever is done on the basis of ego binds and bedevils him. If he is to rise to higher altitudes, it is not by affirming and accentuating his ego, but by curbing and conquering it. You have to do that. If you are really striving sincerely for the real happiness and real peace, you have to conquer your ego. Self-conquest will then be tantamount to ego conquest. But the ego has entrenched itself so securely in the human personality that it is a comparatively easier task to assault the distant galaxies. It's not so easy to handle your ego. However, given the will, even the ego can be subjugated. It is possible. One of the disciplines Sri Ramakrishna practiced for the purpose is of profit to us. You study his life, you will find there an incident. Sri Ramakrishna would go to a pariah and ask to be allowed to clean his house. A pariah is a person, an untouchable, on account of his unclean habits, on account of his profession of cleaning the washrooms and cleaning the dirt, and on account of his bad habits, whatever. So, he was untouchable in the society. Of course, nowadays all those things are being changed. If the people change for the better, then all these things will be taken care of. But if the people don't want to change, then it's difficult. So the business of the pariah is to clean the streets and washrooms of the houses. And another point is, such a person doesn't enter the house by the front door, by the back door he enters. And as soon as he has gone out, the whole place over which he has passed is sprinkled by a little water to make the place holy. Now the situation which was prevailing at the time of Sri Ramakrishna, you have to understand that. By birth, the Brahmin stands for holiness on account of his austerity and tapas, on account of his whole-time devotion to God, and the pariah for the very reverse. And Sri Ramakrishna, a Brahmin, that means he is coming from a higher community, so he has his own way of restrictions and disciplines as a Brahmin, but now he is coming to this pariah with a different purpose. He wanted to demonstrate himself, to subdue the ego, to get rid of the feeling, I am Brahmin, I am superior. No, you are no way superior to anybody. All are equal in the eyes of God. He wanted to prove it, he wanted to see in his own life, and Sri Ramakrishna's life is a life of spirituality in practice. He practiced whatever he has said. So, all his teachings are so powerful and penetrating. So, Sri Ramakrishna went to that pariah and he asked him so that he might allow him to do the menial service in the house of the pariah. Of course, the pariah could not allow that, because that community, they all think that if they allow a Brahmin to do such menial work, it will be a terrible sin and they will be extinct. So they would not permit. Then what should be done? So in the dead of night, when all were sleeping, Sri Ramakrishna would enter the house of the pariah. He had long hairs, and with his hair he would wipe the place, saying, he was addressing to Divine Mother, "O my mother, make me the servant of the pariah. Make me feel that I am even lower than the pariah. They worship me best who worship my worshippers. These are all my children, and your privilege is to serve them," says the Hindu scriptures. This particular incident has been told by Swami Vivekananda in his lecture on My Master in New York in 1896. And on the same subject he spoke in England also. These two lectures have been combined, and you will get in a book form, My Master. Separate booklet is available. How Vivekananda described his master. So here is the point for us to learn. By service to others, you can subdue the ego. But after then not, one falls a victim to ulterior motives like desire for name and fame, which only increase the ego. Hence, if service is undertaken, it should be done dispassionately with the conscious purpose of crushing the ego. You must be aware of that purpose. If you lose sight of the purpose, then you will be in the same state of affairs when you started before. So the attitude of looking upon service as worship of God and the person served as God himself is highly commendable in this connection. For the giver of gifts gives a blow to his ego by placing the receiver on the pedestal of God and himself occupying the humble position of a devotee. Regarded as a rare privilege for offering his wholehearted worship to God in the form of the served, service makes him a true servant. If he has ego, it is servant ego or devotee ego. Instead of degrading him, he raises him beyond the level of the ordinary run of mankind. A dispassionate study of the lives of sages and seers reveals that on the ego being exploded, the real nature of man shines in its resplendent glory. They bear unmistakable evidence to the eternal truth of man and the universe, the truth absolute behind all relative truths. To their keen insight, all our conceptions, experiments, trials and movements appear in the proper perspective, in their true colors, as something passing on the way, albeit necessary to our evolution. We are inclined to lend ear to their voice because the saints and seers, they persuade us to experiment and see for ourselves the truth of their discoveries. Sri Ramakrishna said, very nicely he puts it, you see many stars in the sky at night, but not when the sun rises. Can you therefore say that there are no stars in the heavens during the day? O man, because you can't find God in the days of your ignorance, say not that there is no God. These are the words of Sri Ramakrishna. He who makes himself pure of all trace of lust, anger and greed and sincerely strives for God. Mark the word, sincerely striving. You have to strive sincerely. Then you are sure to see him. We are called upon to test the truth of this statement. Here is a challenge of a scientific nature which we can't reasonably brush aside. Religion, in the broad sense, is not opposed to reason. Rather, it makes use of it in sifting the real from the illusory and in validating its own conclusions. Another reason why they appeal to us is that they bear a happy and hopeful message when we are losing hope everywhere. None is lost or condemned. Everyone is a child of immortality. All are marching in a grand procession to the supreme goal of Brahman. Some will reach early, others late. That's all the difference. All our success and failures, all our joys and sorrows, hope and despair are but attempts to manifest the divine within. Even the criminal whom society chastises and condemns has in him the divine spark which can blaze up at the opportune moment. It's a fact. There are many stories, live stories, not fiction, how it is true. There was a person in Maharashtra who used to rob the people in a violent way, and he was a terror to the people. He would come from nowhere and attack the people and rob them. Innocent people were being tortured and nobody could go without fear. Nobody could walk on the streets because nobody knew when that robber would come and attack them. One day, it so happened, he attacked a person and that person was killed by the robber, and the robber was coming on a horseback. Then he moved onwards. When he was moving on the horse, he heard the crying of a woman, wailing, calling for the husband. She had a child. Nobody to take care of them. No food was being given. The child is hungry. Where is the milk? Who is to bring? And she was weeping and weeping and crying and crying. This robber was coming on the way. He saw that. His heart melted down. He came down the horse and went near the woman and asked her, "Why are you weeping? Why are you wailing?" Then she said, "I don't know what happened to my husband. I am waiting for him. It's a long time he didn't come. I have to feed the child. I am also hungry. I can't move. My limbs have become weak. What can I do? Who will help me?" Immediately he realized he had killed that person who was the husband of this woman. It's a great criminal act, no doubt, but that was a turning point in his life. He just went to the Devi temple nearby. He was full of rajas. He cut his thumb. Blood was oozing out. He offered the blood to the Divine Mother and said, "From this moment onwards, I will never and never do in my lifetime any such bad acts. Attacking people, all sorts of things. This moment, it's all buried." He made a strong vow and he stuck to it. Later on, he became a very great saint. That means a time will come when he would turn back and pursue the spiritual goal. The sinner of today is a saint of tomorrow. The kingdom of heaven is in everyone. the call comes to us. Come ye, one and all, and drink deep of the immortal bliss. Every one is born in bliss, exists in bliss, and will merge in bliss. Such is the joyous tidings of the divine destiny of a person that the prophets bring from afar, beyond the ken of our vision. There's a famous statement in the Upanishad, in Chandogya Upanishad, chapter 6, the subject is dealt with very nicely. It's a famous statement. It is said, that thou art, tattvam asi, tattvam asi. That thou art. That means you are that you are. It is a great liberating truth that is iterated and reiterated in the Chandogya Upanishad. The subject is very subtle, so the Upanishad expounds it by means of illustration. There are many illustrations are there. I just give one illustration only to explain the subtlety of the statement, Tattvamasi. There was father and son, father's name Uddalaka, son's name Shvetaketu. Uddalaka was a realized person and Shvetaketu, his own son, is his disciple. The two relationships, one is father and son relationship, another is guru-disciple relationship. Now as a guru, he is teaching the disciple the lesson. Asked the son to break the fruit, and the son broke the fruit, and the father asked him, what is there in the fruit? The son replied, I am seeing fine seeds are there, extremely fine seeds. Then he told again to the son, break one of the seeds, and he broke it. What did you see there? Father asked him. Then the son replied, nothing at all. I have opened the seed, there is nothing. Then the father said to him, my dear, that subtle essence which you do not perceive, verily from that very essence this great tree arises. Believe me, that which is the subtle essence, this whole world has for itself. That is the true, that is the self, that thou art. The chapter ends with a note of fulfillment. Shvetaketu understood it from his father. Having been taught by his father, the son realized his identity with the self, which is the inner essence of everything, and which is unborn, immortal, fearless, all good, and one without a second. It is a goal of goals beyond which there is no further going. It is a final fulfillment. The long and short of it is, you are Brahman. Mere intellectual knowledge of it is inadequate. That thou art, no doubt, but potentially. It has to be manifested by controlling nature, not only external but also internal. We can accomplish this by striving sincerely. Do it by selfless work, do it by worship, do it by psychic control or philosophy, by one or more or all of these. Since the human being is divine in essence, everyone is eligible to launch on the inward journey irrespective of one's occupation or station in life. When nature, external and internal, is controlled, the self is realized. There's another Upanishad which tells, when the self which is both high and low is realized, the knot of the heart is cut, all doubts are dispelled, and all one's actions are dissipated. Every bullet has its billet. There is no rose but has a thorn. No pleasure can be got without pain, nor is there permanence in the pleasure obtained. On the other hand, the treasures of bliss of the spiritual world, which lie deep within, are many, nay infinite. There is wisdom indeed in unearthing them and realizing the infinite self. What is called for is intensive, persistent effort. Intensive, persistent effort. You will have to strive sincerely. You will have to dive deep into the ocean to get into pearls and gems. Brahman being truth, knowledge, infinite, the effort cannot but end in fulfillment. And the fulfillment gained is superlative in as much as the knower of Brahman attains the supreme. So, everything depends upon how you strive sincerely. Then only you will achieve all the results and you will be able to reach the goal and you will get real fulfillment and you feel real taste of peace and joy. That's all. If there is any question, you're welcome to. Oh, I have to read. Page 596. Master Mahasaya said, it was the householders who went to Keshav Sen. Master said, yes, that is true. The worldly minded. Yam said, will what Keshav has found dead remain a long time? Master replied, why? He has written a Samhita, a book of rules for the guidance of the members of his Brahma Samaj. Yam said, but it is quite different with the work done by a divine incarnation himself, Chaitanya's work, for instance. Master said, yes, that's true. Yam said, you yourself tell us that Chaitanya Deva said, the seeds I have sown will certainly bear fruit some time or other. A man left some seeds on the cornice of a house. Later on, the house fell down and trees grew from those seeds. Master said, many people go to the Samaj founded by Shivanath and his friends. Isn't that so? Yam said, yes, sir, people of that sort. Master said smilingly, yes, the worldly minded go there, but not many of those who long for God and are trying to renounce lust and gold. Yam said, it will be fine if a current flows from this place. Everything will be carried away by its force. Nothing that comes out of this place will be monotonous. Master said smilingly, I keep men's own ideals intact. I ask a Vaishnava to hold to his Vaishnava attitude and a Shakta to his. But this also I say to them, never feel that your path alone is right and that the paths of others are wrong and full of errors. Hindus, Muslims and Christians are going to the same direction by different paths. A man can realize God by following his own path if his prayer is sincere. Vijaya's mother-in-law said to me, why don't you tell Balaram that it is unnecessary to worship God with form, that it will be enough if he prays to the formless Sachidananda? I replied, why should I say such a thing? And why should he listen to me even if I should say it? Master Mahasaya said, that's true, sir. There are different paths to suit time, place and the fitness of the candidate. Whatever path a man may follow, he will ultimately reach God if he is pure of heart and has sincere longing. That's what you say. We shall stop here. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust, raging furiously within. Our name streamed down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its curve to knowledge of thyself. O self, drowned deep in the waves of his bliss, tasting his nectar at every step, bathing in his name that bought for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord, in each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass. Be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for Thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is Thy servant, O sweet one. In Thy mercy, consider him as dust beneath Thy feet. Oh, how I long for the day when an instant separation from Thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without Thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at Thy feet let me be in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of Thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of Thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O Thou who stealest the hearts of Thy devotees, do with me what Thou wilt, for Thou art my heart's beloved, Thou and Thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere, may all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good betide all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy, may the clouds pour rain in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be freed from calamity, may holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For He being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.